On this episode of Inside the Eagles Nest, we'll talk about last week's defeat of the William Fleming Colonels, and we'll preview the upcoming game against the Vikings of Woodbridge. Let's go to the Eagles Nest.
Week 2 of Inside the Eagles Nest. As always, I'm Kevin Tosh, along with my partner in crime, Justin Hall. And Justin, we'll start off here with our second webcast, telling people about the William Fleming versus Franklin County game in Week 1, where Franklin County was able to come out with a hard-fought victory, 20-3. Justin, go ahead and tell the folks out there a little bit about the offense from both teams.
Well, Kevin, like you said, it was a hard-fought victory for Franklin County that really didn't do much on the offensive side of the ball. Collectively, the Eagles only had 134 yards rushing, and that's really compared to William Fleming's 135 yards rushing, which equals it out for Franklin County. The score of the game was mostly alluded to by the defensive side of the ball, which you're going to get to. But Franklin County was led by Alex Keys with 48 yards of rushing, along with Chris Tyrese, 22 yards of rushing, along with a rushing touchdown, and Christian Richards, 1 yard of rushing, along with a 3-yard rushing touchdown, which doesn't really make sense to me, but I'm sure it makes sense to everybody else in this world that realizes he lost 2 yards on another carry. And on the William Fleming side of the ball, they were led by Higgins, which had 74 yards of rushing, with a lot of that coming in on one run there in the first quarter. What about on the defensive side of the ball, Kevin? How did the Eagles and Colonels look on the defensive side?
Well, Justin, I'll start with the William Fleming Colonels, and I'm going to sound like a little bit of a broken record here. Jonathan Higgins, he was just about the entire defense of William Fleming. He plays linebacker, as well as you talked about him running the ball a little bit. He was everywhere. He made 3, 4, maybe 5 of the first tackles in the game for William Fleming. He did a good job watching the ball. He wasn't faked by any of the misdirections. He's a big, and he has good enough speed to where he was able to get to the ball carrier in the backfield or stop him for a short loss. For Franklin County, you can't talk about their defense without talking about Zach Sheeman at linebacker. Just about every time you saw a William Fleming ball carrier on the ground, Zach was somewhere. If he wasn't in on the tackle, he was right there at it. He did a really good job here in Week 1. Also, defensive end Terrell Basham. He had a few mental mistakes on running into the kicker and roughing the kicker penalty that prolonged some William Fleming drives. But he was able to use his speed and quickness, especially when William Fleming had to go to the spread offense down 11 late in the game. Also, you have to talk about sophomore cornerback E.J. Harris. We didn't know coming into this season. He had no years of varsity experience, but he came up big, had a big return late in the second quarter to set up the Christian Witcher touchdown run. Been good to see him get in the end zone, but he was ran down from behind by the William Fleming defender. Also, Jonathan Altus, we talked about him in the preseason show of Week 1 of Inside the Eagles Nest as a fullback to watch, but he also plays a little bit of linebacker and was able to intercept the Dom Dumaville pass in the first quarter. But we're going to talk about now the matchup between Woodbridge and Franklin County here in Week 2. Stay right there.
Welcome back to Inside the Eagles Nest. I'm Justin Hall, along with Kevin Tosh right here. This coming up Friday, Franklin County travels up north to a normal foe, the Woodbridge Vikings out of Prince William County. Kevin, tell us a little bit about Woodbridge.
Well, you can't talk about a Franklin County Eagle-Woodbridge Viking matchup without going back to last season when Franklin County ended the Woodbridge season in the first round of the Northwest Regional Playoffs. It was a tough game. The Eagles were able to come out 17-4. Be the victor and to go on in the playoffs. The game ended when Trey Preston was able to sack the Woodbridge quarterback, I believe his name's Corey Taylor, with about 40 seconds to go on the Eagles' 42-yard line. Very exciting game, but you know it left a bitter taste in Coach Kevin Smith's mouth and a lot of the other players that are returning to this Woodbridge Viking team. But now I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about this Woodbridge Viking team from the Northwest region. They're going to start off, they have 2 potential quarterbacks. The first one is junior Logan Farrar, and the second one is a freshman, Mike Mahedi. I believe that's how you say his name. The junior there, Logan Farrar, has started since a freshman for the Woodbridge Vikings, but never under center. He's played defensive back and cornerback. He's got a lot of speed, and he's very athletic, and Coach Kevin Smith is kind of going to lean to him to start, not only for his experience, but because he's played defense. He's going to be able to read the defenses and do a little bit better job for Week 1 here for the Woodbridge Vikings. And for the running attack, Coach Kevin Smith really hasn't been able to find but one real power back for him, and that's Jalen Event. He's the clear number one. But he's also got two backs in Jarrell Greer and Darius Parson, who's going to develop into what Coach Smith refers to as a three-headed monster at running attack. So they've got no depth problems as far as the offensive skill players. Defensively, they're always strong. That's not going to be any doubt, just like Franklin County. They ended the season last year 6-5, so I think it's going to be a good matchup as Franklin County is going to travel north to take on the Woodbridge Vikings this week. Justin, if you had to pick one key to the game for either team, what would it be?
Well, Kevin, my key to the game is going to be Franklin County's offense. Franklin County's offense did not do well against the Colonels of William Fleming, in which a lot of people thought that we should run completely over William Fleming based on last year. So Franklin County has a lot of naysayers coming out and saying the wing T is not going to work, and Coach Jones really needs to go out, run the football, run it down Woodbridge's throat, and gather up as much yards as he can to prove a lot of the naysayers wrong. What about Woodbridge? What do you think about Woodbridge?
Well, I'm going to take, for my key to the game is going to be the Woodbridge offense, and with that you're going to have to bundle the Eagles defense. Is the Eagles defense going to be able to stop the 4 or 5 skill players that Woodbridge is going to be able to put in the game? They're going to be able to stay fresh, but Woodbridge, this is their first game of the season where it's Franklin County second. Are they going to be rusty? Are they going to have a lot of turnovers? Are they going to have a lot of penalties? Stuff that you see in week 1. So I think it could be an advantage for the Eagles. They've had one game under the belt, and they say that the biggest improvement in a team is between week 1 and week 2.
Most definitely.
So hopefully Franklin County will be able to bring that, play a little stronger on offense. But I look for a good matchup between Northwest Region foes. And that's just going to about do it for all the time we have here on week 2 of Inside the Eagles Nest. We want to invite you to follow us on Twitter for game score updates as we travel north to Woodbridge this week. I'm FC Insider, and for the game updates with scores, follow Justin Hall 04. He'll be able to give you updates. I'll be doing the color commentary. It'll be a little bit tough. I can't do that many things at once. But we want to thank you for joining us here. And also, if you're seeing this on YouTube or at any other place, we invite you over to InsideTheEaglesNest.weebly.com for all the latest news and information of Franklin County sports. We're just looking to build up this team and get exposure, and more importantly, to build up these student athletes that we have here in Franklin County. For Justin Hall and Kevin Tosh, thank you.